Says Budikas.
One more before we start. Go ahead. Come on.
That's right.
I got it. I'm done. We're good. Let's go.
Chug.
I'm ready to roll.
Keep those cam bearings and crank journals and lifters nice and lubricated for the evening. There you go.
Listen, I am ready for Texarkana. Let's go.
That's right. Multi viscosity, baby. All good. Right.
That's right.
High revving machine tonight.
I don't know about that, but okay.
Good evening and happy Friday Eve, everybody at home. Hope you guys are doing pretty well.
Yes.
Friday Eve.
You have a leap year. If you have a leap day birthday, happy birthday.
Yes, that's true. Happy birthday day.
There's a woman in Oklahoma turned 25 today.
25.
Actually, she turned 100.
Wow. Can you imagine? Like with my insecurities, that would just really screw me up. Maybe that's what I should start doing. It's just telling everybody, yeah, I'm a leap year baby. I'm not really 52.
Yeah.
Jen stopped counting at 25. She just keeps turning 25 over and over again.
No, never stop counting because it's always, if you're above ground, you're doing better than others.
That's true.
So,
rather be 100 above than one below. Yeah.
Absolutely. Always celebrate it. Always.
Amen to that. That's right.
All righty.
Well, let's see. We got some people hopping on. I believe Vic's first to the party. Good evening, Nate, Mike, and Jay.
And Victor, I believe.
He's always got a seat at the table. He's like first there. His reservation is every Thursday night at 6:30.
That's right.
Got it. And he's been gearing up all week. He's been to some car show. He's been taking pictures with Bullet Mustangs and all kinds of stuff.
I didn't know that.
Nice.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So, celebrate life indeed.
And that is exactly what Janie is doing today.
We got a couple more. Hi,
Dean,
Nate.
all the way from Wales. Welcome.
Dean. Hey. All right.
Hey.
Shooting a comment out to him yesterday. Yes, indeed. And hi, Michael Smith. Yeah.
Hi back.
Yeah. Hello. Great to see everybody. Great to have everyone hanging out with us once again. Another wonderful Thursday night. Yeah. Toronto Auto Show. So that's where you were. Okay. All right, Vic. I saw some pictures of you in there. Absolutely. Yeah. He was in the. Yeah. He was in the brand new Bullet Mustang. Still making it. Same color. Wheels, the whole deal. Yeah, Vic was sitting in it. He was in like a red convertible too, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, looked good. Yes. February is done. It is. March is here. Although our temperature dropped like 40 degrees.
Oh yeah.
4 hours.
So I woke up this morning and it was 30. 30 this morning. Yeah.
Well, it's back up to the upper 50s here. It was 80 Tuesday afternoon. 20 Tuesday night, then it was like mid 30s yesterday, but now it's going back. It's supposed to be 80 over the weekend again.
Wow. Yeah, we had like 62, 63, and then the 20s. Yeah, 20s, and I guess a chance of snow squalls tonight. So.
Oh God.
Yeah, no, it is what it is.
Wow.
Hi, Milosh. Welcome.
Milosh.
Hey, Milosh.
All right.
Hey.
Awesome.
Aw.
Yeah, Milos has been stopping back in again.
I'm happy to see him come back every now and then. So, I mean, we understand life is in the way, but we always love those that come up.
Makes us international.
That's right, we are.
Just need Sonia to pop up.
I'm sure, yeah.
What's up? Hey, Dean. Hey, my darling. Hello, me darling. Yeah, tomorrow's March 1st, and this is my favorite month of the year. St. Patrick's Day. Yes. I get to celebrate my people, the leprechaun, because that's how short I am.
Hey.
So,
Lucky Charms for breakfast every day.
That's right.
Every day. I am a Lucky Charm.
I'm not going to tell you otherwise.
Go ahead. Do it. Do it.
Mike was thinking it. I just said it. That's all that happened. You with the sneakers out of the pool. Right. Yep. I might not be smart, but I learn after a while. Let me tell you. You only hit yourself in the face so many times, you know you don't want to do it anymore. You know?
Oh my goodness. That's right. March 1st is St. David's Day. That's right, Dean. That's right.
St. David's Day, and we got what? March 2nd, 2024. Celebrate 50th anniversary of the making of Jaws. Yeah, you're right.
Oh,
right. Walk down the beach and Jeff Kramer blew his whistle.
Yeah. That's somebody was watching the Marty Milner episode there. Yeah.
Yes.
That was a cool point he brought up.
Yep. Donna's on here. Hey, Carlin.
Donna. Hello, Donna.
Hi, Donna.
Glad you joined us. Donna, I'm going to give you a call this weekend. I got one or two things I want to run by you. Just a heads up there. I'm going to be going
if he's going to insult me, don't do it.
I'm going to be going up that way in a little while. I want to stop up and visit Donna for a day. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
She'll love that.
We're going to enjoy it as well. Absolutely.
Good deal.
All right.
So, Mike, I was telling Nate, I said, along with the theme of tonight's show, your girl here was driving like Burt Reynolds in a Kia Sorento. I may have one. I'm not sure.
You weren't jumping hedges and passing trucks and stuff, were you?
I will definitely pass a semi truck. I know how to weave and bob. So yeah.
I've driven in Knoxville. It gets kind of crazy. End of the day. Oh yeah.
God, it's crazy. But I'm here.
It's okay.
So let's go.
Cops don't watch YouTube, so you're good. You're all good.
Good.
Well.
They already know who I am. Just ignore it.
Without further ado, let's since we're talking about speeding to get home, let's start to talk a little bit about what we have going on tonight. So, as you guys know, tonight we're going to be talking about the SMOKEY and the BANDIT. I think this kind of popped up the last time we were talking about cars and movies and the notoriety of the car and really great movies. And
they went on like a 15-minute rant of quoting lines. So it was just like, yes. Yeah,
right.
We have to talk about it.
And go ahead, Mike. I apologize.
Second best film in 1977. Also, the second highest grossing film of 1977.
There you go.
Yeah, I thought I read something where it kind of dethroned Star Wars when Star Wars was coming off the end. Is that correct? Does that sound right?
It was kind of neck and neck. It kind of took his open in more theaters because Star Wars was a movie that was supposed to play 2 weeks and be gone. None of the theaters wanted to play Star Wars, and the big film that year for I think the fall from Fox was The Other Side of Midnight, and Fox told exhibitors that if you want to play The Other Side of Midnight, you need to play Star Wars for 2 weeks. And then, of course, once Star Wars took off, more theaters were adding it, and they kept making more prints. And some of the theaters never played The Other Side of Midnight because they held on to Star Wars for so long. But we played SMOKEY the BANDIT from opening day. Because I always sound like Grandpa Simpson when I say back in my day. But in the 70s, you didn't have a movie theater on every block. You had a neighborhood movie theater that played.
Right.
We had 2 theaters that were next to each other. One was AMC, one was General Cinema. The AMC that I worked at played United Artists and Universal. So every time a new movie came out, that's what we got. And we had Smokey and the Bandit, and we had it up until Thanksgiving week. So from May to November, Thanksgiving week, we went to a Dollar House. So Thanksgiving week, we played like Rocky and Young Frankenstein and older films. But so that thing played June, July, August, September, October, 5 months, and still did business.
Wow. I remember going to see it as a kid, which is ironic because I rewatched the first two films like 2 weeks ago. I went and saw it with my dad at the drive-in, lived next to a drive-in, and they would play new releases because it was a big drive-in. And I, just remember absolutely being in love with the film. And I swear, I don't remember the amount of swearing and sexism and everything that was in that film. I mean, I was just a kid,
Yeah.
Dad took
You don't realize it at the time. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! When I went back and watched it, I thought, "Holy cow! Could you imagine them releasing that film nowadays?" I mean, it'd be R rating right off the bat, just for language alone. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of some bitches.
Oh my God! Somebody's quoting here already. When I get home, first thing I do is punch your mama in the face.
That's funny because on the post I did today, I put, and I usually say "be there," and I put "be there" or I'm going to punch your mama in the mouth. And when I went to post it, I got a message from Facebook saying your post may violate our community thing. So I had to go back and either post anyway and take a chance or just edit it. So I edited it, but yeah, they're I don't know what they're looking for. Punch. I don't know if I'm drinking fruit punch. Is that gonna?
Well, let's move on. I thought we hit a little bit on some of the main characters. I'm going to throw a clip or two here and there as well. Obviously, the big guy here with this movie was Burt Reynolds, who had already really made a name for himself in movies, and even before that as a stuntman. And so I don't know a ton as far as how much it took to talk him into the movie. I know he wasn't really into not necessarily the movie, but he didn't want to be like start to get typecast as kind of like a good old boy kind of feel.
Because he had already done Gator, he'd already done WW Dixie Dance Kings. He thought after Deliverance he would get more serious stuff, and though it did well, you did what sold. So yeah.
Wasn't he in it? What was the television show that he did? It wasn't Rawhide, was it?
He was on Gunsmoke.
Yep.
He was Quentin. Yeah. He was Quentin, the blacksmith.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what he named his son that he adopted, was Quentin. Yeah.
And then he had his own show. That's going to bother me. Let me get my phone out. He had a show, but it didn't last.
No, it was very, very short.
Got a couple more relevant comments here. I'm just going to pop up while we're doing that. So $1.25 under 18 for theaters in 1977. Love it. So Smokey 3 times that summer. Yes. When I went and I saw it the first time, just saw that movie and whatever was playing after. And then they played it again. And I remember the movie before Smokey and the Bandit was Disney's Fox and the Hound.
Oh,
we had to
that
stay.
Was
Plum cod. Oh yeah.
We had to sit through that, but I was like 8 or 9, and I was too cool for Fox and the Hound, but I was going to gut it out to watch Smokey and the Bandit again. So.
I'm a hound dog.
I sense we'll be doing a Fox and the Hound show soon.
Go watch it.
Listen, I'm
Walt
your
Disney's
Disney
a bunch of
we can do a Disney.
Yeah, we could do that. Sure.
So
for $5,
Victor had just reminded me of a TV show on here. Victor was talking about Evening Shade.
Yeah, Evening Shade. Evening Shade was late 90s. But he did a show that after guy's got so many credits, the guy never not work.
Here's another good one. It says paid $1 million for Smokey and the Bandit. Yeah, Burt got paid $1 million, and I want to say the budget was incredibly low, like $7 million or something like that. $10 million for the whole movie,
and most of that was probably the cars.
Yes, an awful lot of it. Yeah, but he walked away with a quite sizable chunk of that one. Yeah. Well, while we're hitting that, let's slide over here to Sally Field, Frog herself. Yeah. And I mean, my introduction to Sally Field was watching reruns of The Flying Nun. Would be on like in the afternoon. I guess it was in syndication at the time. Mm-hmm. So that's how I got to know Sally Field before this came around. And looking things up, she wasn't deemed an ugly duckling, but wasn't exactly considered to be attractive as far as, I guess, for movie roles. And this is kind of what turned that around for her, which I was completely unaware of that because, I mean, wasn't whatever, the tall, slender kind of model type material, but she always came across to me as being kind of like almost like an all-American kind of girl, like hometown kind of girl. Right. And
girl next door. The girl next door.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She was cute.
Yeah.
She was cute. Yeah. But she'd been Gidget before that.
That's right.
And then Gidget, yes. Yeah, she was cute. And then, she did Smokey and the Bandit, and then she did and she stumbled into Norma Ray, and then all of a sudden, she's got an Oscar. Sybil.
Yeah.
Sybil. Yeah.
I think that was the first thing that really people took her serious in was Sybil.
Bonafide her as an actress, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And she and Burt had a relationship. I don't know, 5-6 years. I want to say after the movie. Yeah.
They in his book, she's the one that got away.
Yeah.
No kidding. Really? Interesting.
Yeah, I think he said right before he passed away, who was his greatest love, and the first thing he said was Sally.
Yeah, not you, Lonnie Anderson.
So.
And I don't know. I had this pop up 2 or 3 different places, and I kind of question it, but it said that she admitted that he was the sloppiest kisser she ever had to kiss on set. I don't know. I was kind of I was like, really, is that really true? But, come across things when you're trying to find some facts, and it's really hard to say.
Sometimes maybe things just don't seem as they appear, and it could be, you never know until you write a book about it. But, it's just like Vivian Lee said she didn't like kissing Clark Gable with Gone with the Wind because he was such a heavy smoker and wore dentures that every time they would kiss, she would, get that it was foul. So
he told her, frankly, Scarlett, I don't give a damn.
So there you go.
The name of the TV show I was thinking of was Hawk.
Oh.
So if you had Hawk, give yourself 5 points.
Did not know that.
Did not know that. That one's a miss on me.
One of my, I think, favorite underrated and blackballed movies by him was probably Sharky's Machine.
Oh, excellent.
Such a great movie.
Man, as a kid.
He directed that too. Oh, such a great movie.
As a kid, I just wanted to throw credit cards at people and jump out like 40-story windows. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and was that in Atlanta? Victor, was that in Atlanta or was it in Toronto where they filmed it where Dar Robinson went backwards out of the tower? Yeah. I don't know if they filmed it. I think it was set in Atlanta. But I don't know if they filmed it there or if they filmed it at I don't know. The tower in Toronto. But yeah, such a great and underrated film. It's well made.
It really was.
A good director too. So.
Yeah. And speaking of which, the director of this film, he was a stuntman himself. That was his background. This was his debut directing. Yeah. And he was, very well known for his stunt work. Abused himself very badly.
Well, it's like the guy that does the John Wick films. He was a stuntman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
For Sharky's Machine, filming took place in Atlanta from January to March in 1981.
Okay. So it was Atlanta where they filmed it. I just knew it was a big tower. I don't know if it was the CNN tower or what it was, but yeah. I just remember it was like one of those making of things, and Dar Robinson just went off backwards.
Yeah, it says, this is from Burt himself, quoting, I made Deliverance, Smokey, The Longest Yard, and Gator my first film as a director, all in Georgia.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm going to throw up a couple comments, and then I'm going to throw up a clip for our next character in the movie. So we got Jane, Mike, and Nate. Hope you are all great. Big hug for you all. I'm not familiar with what's happening with Jay, but please give her a big hug. And if you can, of course. I'm not sure who that is, but
it was Milos.
Was that Milos? Yeah. As far as we know, she's doing well. Don't really have any contact with her, guys, but
yeah, I talked to her right around Christmas. She's still in Arizona. She's still trying to get things sorted out. So
wow,
she is well, and she misses you all. And thank you for. And I don't know if she doesn't have a computer, but I don't know if she goes like to a FedEx and gets online and watches this or not. But I know she appreciates the love.
Well, if she does, there you go, darling. That's from all of us.
You betcha. Always thinking about her.
Yeah. Like the dating game.
I
still go back and watch the old shows. I really do. Yeah, I'm out doing work or working out in the garage. I pull them up, on YouTube, and some great stuff there. Awesome.
Sweet.
Yeah. Sometimes I wish I had outfits as good as what Jane did. She'd always tidy outfits in the show, and and one-liners, and good stuff. Well, all right. Are you guys ready? You think? I don't know if you want to see me in a pair of tight white jeans and a button-down blouse tonight.
I have $5 right now. Let's go.
I got 10.
Ooh! Do I hear money?
Question is Facebook going to take that down? Yeah.
Listen, you wear that, and I'm going to start singing tight pants from like Jimmy Fallon. I'm there for it. I am there for it.
Tight pants on.
Whoa. End of the short-lived career there. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to pull up the first clip introducing our next character. I think one of the unsung heroes of the video. So, yeah, here we go.
Fred, come here, Fred.
I said he just bit me.
Put the son of a bitch out of his misery.
That's roasting. It's not a bad idea.
You did.
I don't think Fred bit you, mister. Fred absolutely don't like grease.
It's time to get out.
That's the Big 10-4.
Billy. 7384.
Never mind.
Just keep the change. Sorry, what happened, Snowman? It's okay.
Far out.
Oh man, I hated to let that clip runs so long, but that is one of my favorite snowman scenes in the movie.
73 bucks to fill up that truck. So what was gas 50 cents a gallon back then, probably for diesel. Yeah.
Wow.
Can't fill up my pickup truck for that now. Yeah.
No.
Doesn't work. Nope. I have tried it. But yeah. So at any rate, obviously we're talking about the snowman, Jerry Reed himself.
Yep, that's my favorite. He's my favorite.
Yeah, great guy. Yeah.
He's my favorite.
And he was well established musician before he got into doing this, but I don't know if he did. Do you guys know if he did any acting prior to this, or was this kind of his big debut?
I think it's the first thing I remember him in. He did a lot afterward. I mean, the Smokey movies. He was in a movie called Hot Shots with Suzanne Paquette, that's really funny. Or is it Hot Shots? No,
It was called Hot Stuff, and it had him, Suzanne Paquette, and I was talking about it today. And Dom DeLuise was in it. And
they run they're cops. They run
they're cops in Miami.
Shop. You get stolen. Yeah,
correct.
He was playing that. Of course, he's in The Water Boy.
Right.
But he was an amazing musician. He could play anything with strings. I'm trying to think. There's a clip somewhere. It's like him and Roy Clark and Glenn Campbell, and Glenn Campbell and Roy Clark were amazing musicians, and they're playing something, and then Jerry Reed just takes over, and the other two stop and watch him. He was just so good. Yeah.
Jerry Reed had, I guess it was more or less not an honorary degree, but something to that extent for his musical ability. And it was something that very few professional musicians carried, because he was that good of a musician. Not a guitar player, not a singer, a musician in general. Yeah.
Correct. I agree with that.
The guy was amazing. Yeah, truly was.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, he wrote Eastbound and Down. Somebody commented earlier. He wrote that song like in a night. The producer or whatever came up to him and said, "Hey, we need a song." He went home that night or in the hotel room and wrote that song and brought it in the next day. And they said, "This is what we're using." Yeah, because they were looking down other avenues. And he said, "Oh no, we're using this song." I mean, in an evening, amazing.
Yeah. I was telling somebody today about him in Hot Stuff, actually, at work. And I said, if you really notice, there's a scene where the family gets together and they're talking about what to do because the whole sting is coming to an end. And it's actually Dom DeLuise's true wife and boys in that movie. That's actually Dom's family. If you look, you'll see Peter. Wow. Yeah, you'll see Peter and Christopher when they were younger. So it's Dom DeLuise's family and his real wife, I believe, in that movie.
She's also the school marm that writes the governor in Blazing Saddles.
Yeah. Yes. That's her. Yes.
I've never seen that. I'm gonna have to watch that movie.
Never seen Blazing Saddles?
No, not Blazing Saddles. I've never seen Hot Shots.
Yeah.
It's hard to find because I can't even find it. I can't even find it on YouTube. It's very hard to find. I've
got it somewhere on VHS when it was on cable. I taped it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's still any good because I probably taped it, 35 years ago. But yeah.
But it was just a funny comedy. So
I'll have to do some searching. Hey, we got some JJ's facts and Mike's facts up here already. The race has started. Here we go.
Fred. Good old Fred.
And Fred. Fred.
Fred.
Like shit,
Can I say it?
Sure,
go ahead. Yeah, Fred. Fred. Don't look, Fred.
Well, if you guys are ready, I got clip number 2 for our next actor and character.
Oh, I know this is going to be good.
You guys ready for another one? All right.
Yep.
Here we go. I'm going to mute just the first couple of seconds on account of music here, and then we'll pull it up.
I'll hum it. Bum, ba, bum, ba, bum, bum. Hold up on that car, wise gentlemen. Yes.
The music stops right as he puts his hand up with a cigarette. I'll bring up the sound.
Mike Henry, he was Tarzan. He was Tarzan on TV.
Yeah.
Hold up on that car wash, gentlemen. Come here, son. Whoops. You looking tired, boy. Rest yourself.
Arrest yourself.
You punks look tuckered out, too. That's an attention getter. Now, a lady in a wedding gown.
Yes, sir.
Get in the car.
Yes, sir.
See who's driving.
No, sir.
That's I cut it right there. Oh my gosh. You know, I was trying to remember some of the things that he said in that movie, and it just wasn't happening. I mean, every other line is a one-liner, and apparently they didn't have a lot of lines for him for the script. They pretty much let him roll up and kind of, gave him a basic idea and just let him run with who he was and what he was good at,
Don't go home. Don't go to eat. Don't play with yourself.
You can think it, but don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't look good on my highway. There he is. Oh my gosh. Listen, I'm telling you. Man, over here.
Well, that's why it's called the Great One, right there.
That's right. Exactly. Exactly.
The only thing I kept thinking was, if I was a dad back in the 70s, I would have been quoting him every day of my life. Every day of my life. Come on.
He was like the Red Foreman before Red Foreman was on that 70s show. Think about it.
That picture on the right just kicked back. He doesn't have a care in the world because he's Jackie Gleason. This is a man that hosted a game show, and then the next week, instead of hosting the game show, he spent a half hour telling the people that are watching it, "Don't watch this show. It's the worst thing I've ever done." He didn't care. He didn't care. He was like Jane said. He was the great one. I mean, I can remember Saturday night watching him, or Sunday night.
So that's what they didn't call him Mr. Gleason on the set or Jackie. They literally, everyone, Bert himself, called him the Great One on the set, apparently. That was just what they called him. And he had, whether he had an assistant or it was someone that followed him around, he had code names for things. So he walked around the set saying, "Get me a hamburger." And that meant he wanted some vodka. Like, he had different names for different drinks and stuff like that. Oh yeah, and and cigarettes and cigars, and they said the guy's appetite, the amount of food that he would put away, was astonishing. When he would sit down to eat, what he would eat in one time, he would go on these these huge feasts. They said it was just awe-inspiring to sit and watch that guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, then I'm drinking a salad.
And somebody mentioned here about ad-libbing. Apparently, I don't know if it was exact ad-libbing, but I think they more or less said, "Well, here's what you're supposed to do," and he would throw in his own parts. Now, some of the phrases he borrowed from Burt Reynolds. Burt Reynolds' father was a police officer.
Yeah,
and so some things, like, he would say, well, so, like, what would your dad say about this? And that's where the term "some bitch" came from, because Burt Reynolds' dad would say that, and he wouldn't say "son of a," he would say "some," and so that he said, "Really?
That's
what I need to use?"
Right there.
He would say, "That's what you got to say." Yeah.
Hey, Nate fact. What?
Hey, I got one. Woohoo! Not bad. We're coming up on a year. I got one. Hey, how about that?
Welcome to the club.
Welcome to the club. We have jackets. Okay.
That's right. That's right. But yeah, I mean, and I have to say, and I wasn't going to say much about it, but last night I was sitting doing work, and I thought, you know what? I've only ever seen Smokey and the Bandit 3 one time, and I thought I'm going to pull it up and watch it just to see on his end of things. And sure enough, it was, continuation of him and Junior and the one-liners and all of that. And that had some fun stuff to it. And that was about the extent of it. Although there is a Jaws reference in Smokey and the Bandit 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And the girl walks out of the hotel room. The head kind of pops out and in, and it was a Mako shark. And you get the Jaws, and they played the Jaws theme. That was, yeah.
And Paul Williams thanks you for the 23 cents residual he will receive for you watching that movie.
Oh my goodness.
Couple comments. Gleason was brought back to life in movies after Smokey.
I believe that, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. And going back to what I said earlier about the amount of swearing and things that were in the movie when I was a kid, when they put this over broadcasted on TV, obviously they went and they overdubbed a lot of things. The guy that did the voice for him, I want to say, was the guy that took over for Fred Flintstone.
Oh.
Alan Reed? No, Alan Reed was dead. Alan Reed died in the 60s.
Oh, was he? Okay, maybe I'm mistaken.
But he didn't sound like Jackie Gleason.
No, he didn't.
He says like he's scumbum instead of some bitch.
Yeah.
Where are you? Where are you, scumbum? It's like, so it's just geez. Yeah. Now I mean, I can say anything anymore, but yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and as soon as they release another word that you're allowed to say, it's used everywhere possible on TV. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, we've got to hit these guys.
Oh my God.
And Big Enos and Little Enos.
Little Enos.
And every time that I watch these two, the first thing that pops to my head is the story, Mikey, you started telling me about how accomplished of a musician Little Enos was.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Paul Williams is an amazing songwriter.
Yeah.
He wrote,
I had not a single clue.
Oh, yeah. We've Only Just Begun, Rainy Days and Mondays. He wrote all the songs for the Muppet movie. He wrote Phantom of the Paradise, the score for the film, all the songs. He wrote the music for Ishtar, all the songs. And I actually asked him about it because the songs in Ishtar, he said it was hard to write because they had to be just bad. They couldn't be really bad because then nobody would believe that they were good songwriters. But and he told me that his favorite line that he ever wrote is from the Muppet movie, and it's there's not a word yet for best friends who've just met.
Oh wow! Wow,
that's a nice line. That's good.
Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah. Another Mike back
Must
there.
be a bitch getting a 52 extra fat and a 12 dwarf. Yes.
You're not kidding.
They did a.
Oh my God!
He wrote a series. He and Pat McCormick actually did a series together called Rooster.
Yeah, they
played
did.
Off of their. Because they're just natural. They naturally played off each other. But
he was also in the Princess Diaries, isn't it? I believe the very first one.
Oh, was he?
Is that about Anne Hathaway?
Yes.
Never saw it.
Don't start going off on these actresses like you do with Steel Magnolias.
Oh no! I like Anne Hathaway. I just never. It didn't interest me.
Yeah, no, I think he's like part of the country that she came from, or her father. But he's in it.
He just won. He produced. Shit, I can't remember the name now. The emo funk band, whatever. That was really big a couple years ago. He won a Grammy for their album. He's still doing music.
Oh wow!
For there's a lot of those bands out there. Was it?
They wore helmets when they.
Daft Punk.
Yes, thank you. I was thinking punk.
Really?
Yeah, he did Daft Punk.
Yeah, Daft Punk. Yeah.
And on a personal note, Matt, our friend Matt, Matt was giving up music because he wasn't going anywhere with it. And I knew Paul Williams a little bit, and I interviewed him a couple times, but I sent him one of Matt's CDs, and he wrote this glowing letter. And I told Matt, and I said, Matt, Paul Williams thinks you're talented. I said, he doesn't have to lie to me. If he thought you sucked, he would tell you he sucked. And after that, Matt bore down, and he put out a couple CDs, and yeah, so on a personal note, Paul Williams is an even better guy than everyone thinks.
Wow. Yeah, I my Christmas favorite, we were talking about Christmas and all the films and things that we watch, and Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas is one of them, and he did the songs for that. And some of the songs are just beautiful at the end of that. If you've ever seen the show, the ending song is just beautiful.
He wrote the movie One on One with Robbie Benson. He wrote the songs for that.
Oh yeah,
he wrote he wrote the song in Carrie when they're dancing at the prom, when Carrie and Tommy Ross are dancing. The song he wrote that. Yeah. He wrote Evergreen. He won an Oscar with Streisand for Evergreen from A Star Is Born.
Oh, that's a great song.
Yeah.
Wow.
Evergreen.
Wow.
The Carpenters. I wish Judy was watching. The Carpenters, their first hit was, it just went in my head. What was it? I just talked about it.
We've Only Just Begun.
We've Only Just Begun. He and his partner, they wrote that. That was a bank commercial. And Richard Carpenter happened to be watching TV, and he heard that song in a bank commercial. That's how good he was. He was writing number one hits for bank commercials. So
And yet, look at him in that suit.
It's hard to not see him wearing a hat and wearing one of those suits. You see when that hat and glasses, and you're going, no, come on, that's not him. That's an imposter. Yeah. And he had a lot of good, he had a lot of underhanded one-liners constantly. And you would miss some of them. He would just sneak them in. Or like little things like when he was counting out the money, Bandit's going, I'm going to need a car. And have to be speedier than that. He started, you go, like, kick is it? Then he comes back and he starts going, like a horse. He's kicking more money out the whole time. I mean, he really would sneak little things in there that you have to pay attention to.
And I interviewed him. I told him, I said, I work with the public a lot, and I deal with a lot of idiots. And I walk away so many times quoting you. And he says, I bet you say, I'd like to kick his ass just once.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I thought we started moving over from the characters. Well, I guess you could really almost say this was a character over to some of some vehicles here.
As much a character as the orca is in Jaws. Yes.
There it is.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And that is our Firebird. And I did try and look up some information on this, and I kept coming back and forth between whether there was 3 or whether there was 4 cars. When they were setting the film up, General Motors was contacted and said they needed 3 or 4 cars. And no, I think originally they said they wanted 8 cars. And General Motors was kind of like 8 cars. They ended up sending them like 3 or 4 or whatever. And I think 1 cop car. I think 1, whatever that was, the Bonneville or whatever they drove for the cop car. And the ironic part was after the film came out, the sales of this particular car absolutely rocketed into the stratosphere. And so when they came around for the next movie, they were like, you need how many cars? Not a problem. I mean, it just completely, I actually looked up the numbers, how sales jumped in 1 year on that car alone. And it was astronomical what the numbers did. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Very cool stuff. And the cars were all stock except for one. And that was the one that made the jump scene over the bridge. They kept trying to line it up and, had to get up to a certain speed to clear the jump. And the car just couldn't do it. It didn't put down enough power and enough torque to accelerate that fast. And so they took that one and they yanked out the engine and tranny and they dropped in a 700 horsepower running gear that you would run in a NASCAR car. And that's what they used to do that scene. And that was stick shift as well. A lot of what you've seen in the show was automatic. Every time they went to the interior shot, they were showing you floor shift, but it was an automatic car, and it was the original, the 6.6 liter, which was the big block car. They didn't make a lot of power. They really didn't. The cars of that era did not. You look at say 10 years ago, 19 say 67 or 68, what that size engine with power and torque was putting out, and compare it to 77, and it dwarfed it tremendously. It was only making 200 some horses. You're talking, 6.6 liters. You're talking well over 400 cubic inches. That's a lot of motor. As a matter, and it just didn't. But it was a fun car. Had a lot of
That's
good.
a good question, Nate. What is the difference between a Firebird and Trans Am?
So I want to say, so the Trans Am, as far as I remember, was the absolute top shelf. So if you got the Trans Am, that was the highest option package as far as engine performance, all that kind of good stuff. Or if you got a regular Firebird, it was more like the run of the mill, kind of like what do you think, like a Chevelle. Chevelle at the time, if you got the base model Chevelle was like the Chevelle 300, 6-cylinder, 3 on the tree, bench seat. Then you went up to the Malibu. You could get an optional V8, but that was about it. When you went up to the Super Sport, that was like, that was the ceiling. That's what the Trans Am was for the Pontiac Firebird. Yeah. That was the top of the line. That was the biggest one.
You ever driven one?
I have. I've never driven this one. Like, I've never driven that Trans Am, but I worked for General Motors and Pontiac when they brought back the Trans Am model in the 90s. And so I drove some of the newer ones. I drove an older one too. In fact, if we get time, I'll have a little story about my own Pontiac Trans Am or Pontiac Firebird story that didn't end so well. But yeah, we don't have any viewers. For some reason, we got the boot.
No, we got the boot again.
For what?
Unbelievable.
I don't know.
The only thing I can think might have been the couple seconds that came through on that clip.
On that clip, it does it all. I mean,
it says here we're still live.
Yeah.
On StreamYard we are, but not on Facebook.
Yeah, we got the viewers. Yeah. I saw the viewers just suddenly dropped off.
Yeah, the only one I saw was Nate. I mean, not Nate, but Victor. So we're gone. We're done.
Well, Vic must have got back on. Says you are here, so I don't know what's going on.
I don't know.
But apparently we got the boot. Well, Janie, you want to maybe put a message up on back in the day, or you know what?
Absolutely.
I can shut it down and reboot. We can come back on.
Well, it's 7:22, so you guys decide on what you want to do.
That's up to you guys. Or we can just let it run, and it's going to go to YouTube anyway. So you guys just want to do that?
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll do that. Vic's hanging out with us. So, Vic, was the Chevy Camaro more powerful than the Trans Am? It really came down to what package you ordered. And I'm not going to sit and bore everyone with the details, but when you got into the super sports and stuff, you had a lot of options, and then you had the COPO, the COPO cars, and the RPO cars. You could special order with just about anything you wanted in them. As far as track times and stuff, the Chevy Camaro, late 60s anyway, was the fastest of the two cars, and both of those cars shared the same chassis. They were both F bodies to this day, so they were the same car. In fact, if you look at an early Firebird, well, even this Firebird, they look just like the Camaros, for the exception of headlights, grills, wheels, and that kind of things. And they shared a lot of engine packages as well. It wasn't always, Pontiacs had Pontiac engines in them. At some point, they went over to having Chevy engines in them. So, but yeah, yeah, good stuff there. Right. Yeah, and so I wanted to bring up the car that was in the second movie because, to be honest with you, this car has a lot more historical significance, and in the car world, this car is a lot rarer. So the car that was in the second movie was not the 6.6 liter shaker hood that everyone wanted from the first movie. Pontiac was kind of neat because they would do some kind of oddball things. And one of the things that they were doing way back even then is they were turbocharging stuff. And, now that's the big thing. If you get a car that's turbocharged, it's usually like the top of the line model as far as performance. And this guy here, the one that was in the second movie, only had, it was like a 4.8, 4.9 liter V8. So it was a much smaller engine, but it was turbocharged and it put down more power, more torque than the 400 plus cubic inch engine that was in the first movie.
Wow.
And and it was signified by the wheels. The wheels that were on the car were part of the package. And then on the back of the car, if you look at it, it said, I want to say it said Firebird Turbo across the back, something to that extent. Yeah. Yeah. Someone's saying you are still on Facebook.
Oh, good.
Well, yeah.
Oh, good. We're still on.
Yeah, and that's Vic. So I'm wondering if we got knocked off in the States and we're still on up there. Either way.
Or maybe everybody went to dinner.
You might have. It's always a possibility. Well, it'll be over to YouTube. So
yeah.
What does that mean, turbocharge? So a turbocharger was a power adder that they added on. You add on engine. Turbochargers for superchargers, and they both do the same thing. Without boring you, you're compressing air. You're increasing the atmospheric pressure going into the engine. Engine is a big air pump, so the more air and fuel you put in, the more power you get out. And so by putting a turbo on, literally just spins up and compresses the air in the engine and builds extra power. So there you go, in a nutshell.
It's a whole night of Nate's facts. I like it.
Oh man, that's why I said I want to bore you guys with it, but
it is your time to shine.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's what I grew up around. So I did throw down. So there's been so many renditions of this car. Every time that they come out with General Motors has a new line of the new F body, so the Camaro and the Firebird. Every single time somebody does a new Firebird edition, and you could even. There was an aftermarket company building these cars years ago. They might even be still around. It was just called Bandit. And you could buy, and they would go and they would find these things, and they would rebuild them to whatever you could get, as high as it was like 700 horsepower, 900 horsepower version of these cars. And as long as you had enough money to play, they would build you what you want. And they even have the newest down at the bottom. Let me move that quote out of there. On the right, that's the newest F body. Now they no longer make the Firebird. However, that's the newest Camaro, which is the same chassis that someone took and converted over. So that's what the newer one would look like. And then on the left is not the current Corvette, but the last model Corvette, which was 4 years ago. Someone actually made their own, what they call the Corvette Killer version of the Firebird, based off of the Corvette chassis right there. Doesn't look quite as nice, but interesting stuff. He even did a pickup truck, a Chevy Silverado Bandit Edition pickup truck.
I've seen that.
I have too, and doesn't make any connections, but damn good looking truck.
Yeah.
So I've got a quick little snippet of a couple shots of the car. You guys want to watch it here real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, here we go.
That's all that.
I always like that one.
Does this thing move?
Oh, yeah.
Where'd you get that seat cover, son?
Victor threw up a comment. Victor, I'm going to hold on to that comment that you just threw up. I'm not forgetting about it. I'm going to hold on to that comment there until we get to the end there tonight. But
so,
yeah,
I went ahead and put up a message on both the Let's Talk Jaws and our Back in the Day, and if anybody wants to see the ending of it, that they can just go onto YouTube, and they're more than happy to watch it then. So,
I will post the YouTube link on the back in the day. Then, yeah, that's
Okay.
yeah. The only thing I can think of was that little bit of music there with that.
Music with Buford. He got us. I told him. I said we got stopped by Buford,
that
aka
bump,
Facebook.
that little bit, that bump, bump.
That's all it took. That's all it took. So, because actually, Judy was on, wanted to look for us, and I bet you that's why she couldn't get it. She was going to join us. So,
I thought I had us in the clear, guys. I apologize.
It's not your fault.
No,
it's not your fault. They can't have a good time.
It is. I'm the producer. I should have. That's why I said I thought it stopped where he got the cigarette, and that's why I had it muted until that part. So, my apologies, guys.
You know what? We have other ways that they can watch, so don't feel so bad.
Yeah,
this is true. So, and then I thought I'd pull up the rigs from the first two movies, and obviously my favorite was the first one. All black, had the gold. Although I have a question, and maybe you guys can answer this. So, going back and rewatching the movies again, who did that rig belong to? Because, as far as I understand, watching the movie, that wasn't the snowman's rig, was it? Because
I think it was
at the beginning.
I think it was Bandit's rig. I think they drove as a team. Yeah. I think normally they just rode together.
And worked together, right?
But, they were so, you'll be the driver, I'll be the blocker. So maybe they'd done this in the past. But I assume it's Bandit's rig because there's a bandit robbing a stagecoach on the side of the truck.
I want to say that in the beginning of the movie, once he goes, because he's driving the rig anyway to Cletus's house.
Right.
So, and his wife, and his wife makes a comment like he just got home. You can't take, so they both are both truck drivers, and he knew who he needed to do this run, and that would have been the snowman.
Because Big Enos said whoever would paint his truck like that would go to a minister's funeral dressed in feathers. So I guess it made it know that was Bandit's truck.
Bandit's truck, yeah.
But then they throw it off when they say, "What does he get if he wins?" They tell him he get a big Peterbilt. So maybe people go, "Oh, maybe that's not his truck." But I've always thought, and I know they sell kits, of the truck, and they call it Bandit's truck. So
right,
yeah,
there's a lot of semis out there that are still. I mean, like you see these still out on the road.
Oh yeah,
today. Oh yeah.
Yeah, guys still do their own versions of it. Guys still build models of it. I mean, it's folklore almost as much as the Firebird itself. And yeah, you're right. And at the beginning of the movie, when I went back and rewatched it, I really paid attention. And they show him delivering the car, taking it to Cletus. And at the very beginning, when Enos and Enos show up, they walk right past the truck, and they say to him, "How about some real money? What are you going to win in that tractor trailer race? $5,000. That's nothing." So, yeah, he was there with that truck. So interesting. I wasn't sure. I thought I'd ask you guys. So, and the top one was a Peterbilt, but the bottom one was a GMC. Yeah, 74 Peterbilt on top.
A better offer.
That's what I'm thinking. Well, General Motors. I mean, you figure, after the first movie, everything went, soaring as far as sales. So they were like, "Hey, we can get in on this." More cop cars, because a lot of the cop cars were Pontiacs as well, and obviously more Firebirds. And then why not sell them a GMC Admiral truck? That's what they used. Yeah. Wasn't big on the silver though. Just didn't do it. Didn't do it for me.
No.
Did not do it for me. All right. Rolling on here, we're just about rounding out the hour. So I thought we'd hit on for just a minute. Some of the production regarding some of the stunts and things were pretty interesting to hear about how it came about. Some of it came about almost accidentally. In particular, on the right, when they are driving and they go through the football game and they crash through the grandstands. That didn't happen on purpose. That was not scripted. He was supposed to drive through the field, and apparently the ground was either muddy or very loose or whatever, maybe wet. And the stunt driver was going too fast and just could not turn the car. Tried to turn the car and apparently slid. And so that was not on purpose. Well, when it happened, he said, "Oh, you know what? That's really good. We're going to use it." And I want to say they, you know, that's why they kept that scene. That's why they used it. In fact, even went back and I think possibly reinforced it to show the rest of it with him coming through the other side and everything else. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love this picture with the camera on the car. That
Yes.
whole setup. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, you look at the monstrosity they bolted onto that car. I mean, oh my gosh, it looks like one of the catamarans out of Jaws 2 strapped to the front of that.
Yeah, it does.
It really does, you know. Yeah.
But you can see how they have like something over the car where the top should be, just so the light is just right on the side, so you don't get any kind of reflection. I mean, that's pretty intense. Look at that.
And all the cars were rendered garbage, and they were crushed, and they actually sent a representative to witness them all being crushed so that no one would do anything with them. And they weren't all destroyed from the driving. There was a lot of damage done to them, cutting them up just for this kind of stuff.
For this purpose,
so they had one. They cut the back of the roof off. They ripped the trunk out so that they could get those, those rear shots looking into the car, for the driving scenes and stuff. Yeah. Very cool. I still want to know. Still like to see how they did the rig scene in the second movie. When they drive the rig and stuff across the other tractor trailers. Remember when they line up? I thought that was a pretty cool scene. Yeah. Very good.
Couldn't have been good. I'd be afraid if you just got the right, you had to be level speed. If you did wrong, you'd try to drive through the top of one with your rear axle or something.
Yeah, they had to have some type of a ramp set and angle of that camera so you couldn't see what they were actually driving across. Like maybe it was like something built behind the tractor trailers. I don't know, but I just always thought that scene was kind of done pretty well. Yeah. Well, we're about at that hour scene, and I got two things I wanted to show, and the one thing I wanted to show, let me kind of back us up here just a second here. Let me pull that out for a second and slide us over. That is little personal connection.
Excuse me, sir. Where'd you get that from?
Good old Mike, and he's even holding a Coors beer.
That's when we went. That's 2016 when we drove down to Texarkana to get Emmy and get our dog. But it was funny when one of my co-employees, and I was a little theater usher, his family went on vacation somewhere, but I wasn't drinking a lot when I was 16, so I didn't realize that actually possessing Coors east of the Mississippi was illegal. I didn't know that. But
so that's true.
Yeah. Yes. He smuggled like a 6-pack home. We drank it. It tasted horrible, but it didn't. I've drunk better beer, but you couldn't. Yeah.
Oh my God!
It had something to do with where the brewery was, I believe, because like Anheuser-Busch has breweries everywhere.
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
I think Adolf Coors. I think they were just in Colorado, so they could only be within a certain geographic area. But I was surprised. I walked right into the convenience store and they had a lot of Coors there. I was like, wait a second.
Coors, banquet beer. Yeah. Yeah, not a big Coors guy. I am a bit of a craft beer snob. And nothing against Coors, but one of the coolest things I ever saw is at an Oktoberfest, drinking the heavier beers and even the darker beers. They were doing stouts. They were doing stouts and stuff like that. And the bartender he had a couple Coors Lights there. And what he was doing is when you would finish a stout, he would open up a Coors Light and rinse your glass out with the Coors Light before he would put the other beer in it. I'll never forget. I just thought that was hilarious. Anyway, so I'm going to wrap up with this, and good old Vic must have been reading my mind. So, what would you want? Would you want the General Lee, or would you want the Bandit's Firebird?
I'm taking the Bandit's car. Because personally, I cannot slide across the General Lee, so I'm taking Bandit's car.
Yeah, you could. You wax the hood enough. Anybody can.
You do not want to see me because it's not pretty. Trust me. I've tried to do stuff like that. It's not pretty.
Listen, you don't want to see any of the three of us trying to run and slide across the hood of any car, right? Anyway.
It'd be more like a bump and like a tumble.
Yeah. Very old saying around my part is nothing good comes out of, hey, watch this. And that's what would go on. Nothing, man.
Here, hold my beer.
Yeah. Imagine telling that story. Tell that story at work on a Monday when you come in with crutches and your leg is in traction. What'd you do? I was climbing Mount St. Helens. No, I slid across my car like it was the Dukes of Hazzard and broke my damn leg.
Plus, you got to crawl in through the window. I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah. Mike, what would you take?
I'd take the Trans Am. Mostly for reasons of comfort and able to open the door and get in, and
I'd have to go with the General Lee, guys. I'm sorry.
It's because you're tall. It's because you're tall and thin. You can just slide into the window.
You can't get in there. We can't.
I still don't want to climb in and out. First thing I do is have that door fixed. Fix that damn door. I don't care what you do the rest of it. I would. Iconic body style, number one. I wasn't a big Mopar guy, but that was always one of my favorite body styles, not just of Dodges, but of that particular car itself. Number two, being the car guy and telling you guys earlier about how power dropped off from the 60s into the 70s because of government emissions. That car made a ton more power than the Bandit car did, and I just,
Oh, that's crap. You just want to push the horn and hear
that too. That's exactly right. You're not kidding. And it's got a roll cage in it, so if I'm going to be stupid, at least I'll have a chance.
It's got a roll.
I'll be paralyzed, but I'll have a chance at living.
No, but I'll give you the roll cage. Yeah, I'll give you that one. Okay.
I can't imagine bridge jumping in a T-top Firebird would be that intelligent.
If that's the case, I'm driving Snowman's truck. I'm driving the truck, okay? I can get into a rig.
I like it. I'll ride with you. I'll be your friend. I'll be your friend.
Hold on the ass, Mike.
And there is a video, because there are nuts out there, just like with General Lee's, with Smokey and Bandit. There's a video of guys that built both cars, and they just do videos of them chasing each other on YouTube. You got to watch it. And they're going. It's just like the movie and the show. They're doing huge donuts through fields and burnouts and stuff like. They're not jumping them, but they're doing everything else. Yeah, it's pretty cool just to pull it up and watch. Yeah. And you know that the two guys driving those cars, they're both like 9 years old when they're doing that. You know what I mean?
That whole,
Yeah.
And did you know that, and I have to say this, that Bert was from Florida, right?
Of course.
Yes.
Of course.
Florida.
Yeah.
He went to FSU. So
State,
even though I'm a Gator fan, I'll accept this one. So
football player, correct?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep.
And so is Junior. The guy who played Junior, he was a professional football player. I think.
Yeah, Mike Henry was a football player, and he played Tarzan after Ron Ely. After Ron Ely, they canceled that, and they brought it back a couple years later. He was Tarzan. Yeah.
Very nice. Yeah.
So in memory of Bert, we'll do the tomahawk chop for him. So
we absolutely will.
Yep.
Yeah. Very nice stuff. Wow.
That was my Bert laugh. Well, I used to do a good Bert laugh. Now my voice gets
that high pitch. Yeah. I can't do it. Well,
you have to admit too, and I'm going to say this on last night. If you ever really watched a good swim, the bloopers were probably the best. If you ever watch them at the end of the show. So
I want to say that was the first movie I remember blooper reels on.
Yeah.
You guys?
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
That Cannonball Run, Hooper, whatever. I mean, that's Bert's career of all the hoopla and shenanigans that he would do. So, yeah.
Well, to wrap it up here, guys, I got a really cool video that I came across. And this is kind of a little homage to Burt Reynolds, and it's a little bit of Burt Reynolds kind of little flashback talk to himself. So I'm going to let us roll out with this. I'm going to play this, and the show's going to end when the clip ends. So you guys at home, thank you for joining us when you could live, and hopefully you catch the rest of the show on YouTube. I will post the link either tonight or tomorrow. So thank you very much for joining us. I apologize for what happened. I tried to avoid that at all costs, but
pish posh.
Fortunately, it happened. So
we're not the only ones it happens to. We're good.
You think you ought to slow down a little? We're not going to get pulled over. Goddamn son of a bitch.
10-100.
Damn, it's a Texas Mountie. What the hell's he doing in Arkansas? I think you better pull off to the side, Vic. Well, let's just see what he's got under the hood. Vic, take it easy. I may be old, but I'm not ready to die yet. What the hell's the matter with you? We could have been killed. You think you're going to live forever? Uh-huh. Look, I know you think you've got it all figured out right now. Well, I just crazy things. But listen to me. You're on a collision course. You're about to make a lot of bad life decisions. Really? I can help you before you throw it all away. Too late now.